comet. It's not a flyby anymore. It's heading right at us.
Is this supposed to be that bright?
It just changed course and accelerated again.
The comet cannot change course.
This one has.
But it's not a comet.
Massive, 100, 200 feet in diameter.
I have over 4,000 people that stepped out of a ball of light. Some of them have been gone 60 years. None of them have any memory of what happened to them.
I think I saw your brother.
Sean?
The Forgotten.
It's 1979.
They're dead, aren't they?
She's 8 years old, only she was born in 1938.
The Forsaken.
We need to isolate these people.
They're not virus samples, they're human beings.
The Forbidden.
I was saying you killed someone just by thinking about it.
I'm a different man.
Who knows what the rest of them are capable of?
Hello, and welcome back to The Real, a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear and then talk about them over a glass of wine. I'm Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here, as always, by Kat Halstead, the author.
Good evening, afternoon, good morning, everybody.
Welcome to The Real, a very special podcast. We just have to throw that out there, only because we've been cloned, / copied, / mimicked, / whatever, insert word here.
All I know is it takes 4 dude bros to be one snarky, sassy me.
Well, let's rewind. Let's do a flashback. So the other day, I was trying to, I never go on to the podcast app and look for our podcast, but there was just, I had to look at something the other day. I think I was trying to figure out when we talked about a certain episode. So I just wrote a very special podcast, and another podcast called A Very Special Podcast with our same format popped up. And it was 1 a.m. It was late. I had work the next day, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, what's going on? Meanwhile, I didn't know what to do. So I screen capped it. I sent it to Kat. Kat fucking blew up. I was not there for the DM she sent me at this point because it was way too late at night. So I'm just don't worry about it. Who cares? Who cares? Meanwhile, you sent a diatribe to me of 1,000,000 paragraphs.
I did not.
500,000 paragraphs.
I was mad. I was pissed.
All right, so we've been copied. Someone has taken our name. I don't care that you do a podcast about TV shows, whatever. Just don't use our name, please.
Because this is our name.
We've done this for how many years? 2 now? 2?
3.
We're going on to 3. We're working towards 3.
We have been doing this since 2014.
And we talked about it for a while before we actually started recording, too.
Yeah, so I'm really mad that these 5 dude bros, because it's 5 dude bros, took our name. Do your podcast, whatever, but don't take our fucking name, you little freaking maggots.
Did you just call them maggots on the internet?
I did. And you know what? They can come for me. They can tweet me. They know where to find us.
I have this dream in my mind that we're going to one day get together and we're going to have a meeting and we're all going to be together on a round table hashing all these details out and like it's a divorce hearing.
They stole our name. They get nothing.
We get the name. You get nothing. But maybe we can talk about Small Wonder together someday.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, Kat's not here for that.
Kat's not here for this mess. I want to hear from you guys, Mr. Lasagna.
Kat has been tracking these people down. She found all their social medias and stuff. So we're waiting to hear from you. Tweet us at Very Podcast, and I know we'll start a group chat and we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. You can change your name. I don't care. Call yourself another special podcast. I don't care. That's fine. That's fine with me, right?
Yeah, I mean, because right now they're infringing upon our brand. We
worked hard on making these GIF files of that TV logo. How long did you spend on that?
The TV logo? I don't remember. I did that years ago, but I took the time to work on that. I took time out of my life to put together our social media, our website, everything, our complete branding, and these little fuckers come in and try to steal our name. fuck you. Fuck you, bastards.
All right, so what are we doing tonight? On a lighter note.
Tonight, we are diving into the world of science fiction.
Is this our first, like, full-blown sci-fi show?
I think this is our first, like, real science fiction. I mean...
We've dabbled.
You could kind of maybe call The Munsters and Small Wonder and I Dream of Jeannie science fiction.
And Lost.
And Lost, oh yes. Lost. Oops, sorry.
I forgot about you, Nikki and Paula.
But yeah, this is like our first like real science fiction.
Yes. So we are doing the USA original series, The 4400, which... All right, what's the premise of the show?
Okay, so over a span of 50 years, 4,400 people just like mysteriously vanished in like circumstances that were probably totally in this universe's like on episodes of Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes.
Like they just like they were there and then they were gone.
Yeah, it's like the Vanished podcast, Unsolved Mysteries, any of the Missing People episodes of 48 Hours. This is just that world. Like we're in that world. They all arrive back via a weird comet thing. They
all vanish and the circumstances are all just weird. Like there'll be like there's a little girl who goes to pick flowers while she and her parents are on a picnic that gets rained out. Or the guy in Korea get out like right after his army mates like beat the crap out of him because he's a black man and they find out he's dating a white woman.
Or the savvy businessman.
You know, they're just like going about their life and all of a sudden like they'll see a bright light and it's like they're gone. Like they never existed.
Yep. They're just like erased from the timeline.
Gone. Nobody knows what happened. There is one little grew up upon one of these abductions.
Yeah. One person did not get fully taken. They just got comatose, maybe?
Yes. There was Kyle and Sean. Kyle is our main character, Tom's son. And Sean is his nephew. Sean is abducted. We later find out on accident.
So they were really going for the other guy.
They were going for Kyle because he was supposed to be the messenger to explain this all to Tom. And
it's been a long time since I've watched this show. I'm just going to throw that out there. I've forgotten a lot of things. One thing I just want to say, the sci-fi elements of the show are not that great.
You know, they're like, I went into this show not realizing it was going to be sci-fi when I first watched it. I thought it was going to be like a missing person show. Like a crime show.
I like that element of it. I like the drama side of it. Like the human side of it is really good. I think those storylines are really strong.
Because all these people suddenly, like you said, there's like this comet thing that's coming towards Earth. They think the comet's going to like wipe out the Northwest.
But it doesn't.
Because it goes towards Seattle. And like they're trying to throw, like all the countries are throwing missiles at it and they like don't hit anything. There's like some kind of like force field around this thing that stops the missiles from attacking. And this like this light comet thing comes closer and closer to Earth and it gets smaller, but it's like this glowing white light and it's like hovering over this like lake thing by Mount Rainier and then collapses into itself, like where there's nothing. And then all of a sudden, and there's like 4,400 people just like standing there, all confused.
The part of the show that I like though is like someone got like picked up 15 years ago and then they're dropped back into the world and their family and friends have like moved on. They've like remarried. They have like new family members. And it's like this girl just has to like try to pick up her life and her boyfriend is like remarried with like new kids and that's the part that like really draws me to the show. And
like that with Lily where her husband like was like, well, we thought you left.
We thought you died.
I got remarried. Like, I have another kid.
That little girl from the 1940s who comes back and obviously her parents are dead.
Yeah, her parents are long gone. They had no other kids. She has nobody.
Yeah, she has no family and she's just alone. So like that's like part that is I am drawn to. That's the sci-fi part of it, like where people
I think that is probably the more interesting element of the show is the whole readjusting to life when you have been gone, but in your mind, time hasn't passed.
They have no memory of what has happened. Like they literally just thought like they were just in a field of flowers, picking flowers, and now all of a sudden it's 50 years later.
Yeah, it's like 1 second I'm on the beach with my cousin, and then next thing I know, I'm surrounded by like thousands of other people, and I don't know what's going on. And apparently I've been missing for 2 years.
Out of nowhere, they just throw like elements of like the X-Men into this. Like these characters have superpowers.
Yes, they all start to develop powers. It is discovered later on because the people that abducted them gave them a neurotransmitter called promycin, which helped them develop these supernatural abilities.
Yeah, I wasn't here for that. I bailed after the first season.
You bailed after that.
Yeah, I watched the second season premiere and I was like, no thank you. I left.
I watched the whole thing. I was like obsessed. It was like my summer crack, I used to call it. That and Big Brother.
So when did this show premiere?
It premiered July 11th, 2004 on the USA Network. So this was a cable show.
Should we talk about what was on that night? What was on the television landscape on July 11th, 2004? It was a Sunday night.
Yes, let's hear it.
All right, there's a lot going on. I don't think I can read everything that's going on because like now we're in an era where like cable is involved and cable has original programming and summer blocks. So I'm just going to like pick the things that I think sound fun and that we should talk about.
Okay.
There's definitely things on here that we've talked about before, so I'm going to skip over this. All right, so ABC, Sunday night, 8 p.m., a repeat of Extreme Makeover Home Edition, which was like the rage back in the day.
Yes, it was.
An annoying rage. What was the guy's name? Ty Pennington?
Yes, Ty Pennington, who had originally been on Trading Spaces.
Yes.
On TLC.
The Learning Channel.
Yes, which was like totally something I
ignored.
Totally watched.
Oh, you watched it?
Oh yeah.
I did not care for Trading Spaces. I was not on that like Ty Pennington train.
Yeah, I was all about Trading Spaces.
What about Extreme Home Makeover?
No.
It was kind of like fun to see somebody have their house made over, but do you think they really kept up with the maintenance like of all the shit they would do?
Well, the Extreme Home Makeover ones, they're like, people would lose their houses because they couldn't afford like the new taxes and stuff that would come with like the upgrades.
The taxes were too high?
Yeah.
It's like, we built 5 new levels on your home, and there's a slide that goes from the 5th floor to the 1st floor because your son loves slides.
Yeah, they would be like stupid stuff. It's like, nobody needs that. No. Like, give them something they need.
4 walls and a bed. All right, on CBS that night at 9 p.m., we had a rerun of a TV movie. All right, it was a movie called Catch a Fallen Star.
Okay.
This starred Celia Ward of Sisters.
Okay.
She played a girl named Sydney Clark. She's a spoiled, famous actress who is shooting a film when she suddenly gets angry and storms off. She wakes up in the middle of nowhere and gets a ride to a small New England town. There she meets and develops a friendship with Joyce, a waitress at a bowling alley. And that's the description that I have.
Okay, wow.
It sounds like the least monumental television movie I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, she becomes friends with a girl at a bowling alley. Okay, then.
Like what? Do they kill somebody? Do they go on like a cross-country trip?
Did they fall in love with each other?
Is this Kingpin? Is this The Big Lebowski? What is this? Like, I just had to throw that description out there just because I thought that was hilarious.
That is crazy.
So on Lifetime had a new episode of a show called Strong Medicine.
Okay, that was the one with Patricia Richardson, right?
Yes, and Janine Turner of Northern Exposure. Did you watch this?
I didn't.
So this was a medical drama. I figured this would have been something that you would have been like totally into and like wrote fanfic about.
Okay, so it's 2004. At this point, I'm in college.
Girl, it's summer. You're not in college right now.
Well, yeah, it's the summer. Like, so you know what I'm watching? I'm watching Law & Order SVU reruns all the time on USA Network.
Well, Law & Order Criminal Intent was on this night, so maybe you're watching that instead.
I was watching the 4400.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so Strong Medicine was a medical drama with a focus on feminist politics.
Was it one of the Maori twins on there?
Not in the info that I found.
Okay.
But maybe they guest starred on it. But this is the greatest thing I think that was probably on that night, besides the 4400. I don't know. I'm excited about this. This was on, remember PAX TV?
Vaguely.
All right, so PAX TV was like, it was below UPN.
You know what? I don't think I ever actually got it.
You never had PAX, which aired shows like Doc, the Billy Ray Cyrus show?
No, I didn't. Because, okay, so like when I was in college, the campus cable was just like stuff they pieced together from satellite services. They're like, we're going to pick and choose what like networks you get. Like my first year in college, it was the first year they were doing cable all over campus, and they were like testing out like different dorms got different channels. For some reason, the all-girls dorm that I lived in had like all the sports channels.
What?
And the boys dorm didn't.
Oh, that was wild. That was like a scandal. That's like a college scandal.
Yeah, like we didn't have the WB in my dorm, and like my friends are like who lived across campus would be like, we have the WB. I'm like, we don't. I have no clue what's happening on Dawson's Creek this season.
Yeah, how did you watch Angel?
Like anything that was on the WB like in 2001, 2002, I did not see until like maybe syndication later.
Is that like when I make references sometimes to like a Roswell and Angel, you're like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, kind of.
I feel your pain. I would have found a way. I would have downloaded like remember those like real files?
Yeah, a Real Media Player.
Yeah, the Real Media Player. I would have found like a Real Media Player episode of like Roswell if I needed to. If I had to.
Yeah, I didn't think about stuff like that.
All right. Well, PAX TV had a show I've never heard of until right now, but it sounds exciting. Hold on. It was a show called Sue Thomas, FBI.
Okay.
And it starred. Are you familiar with Deanne Bray?
I feel like I should know that name.
The actress Deanne Bray. She's a deaf actress. She was on the final season of Heroes. She played that deaf woman that was intertwined with Peter Petrelli, played by your favorite Milo Venta, whatever his last name is. Can you say it? Say it. Say his last name.
I can't.
You can't? I can't either.
I'm going to butcher it even worse than you did. You just did.
It's harder to say than Hayden Panettiere. Panettiere? Hayden Panty Liner.
Of course, I've also been like seeing and reading that name and hearing it since she was like a little girl on the soap.
Yes. What soaps was she on? I forget.
She was on One Life to Live and Guiding Light. Shit, like kind of at the same time.
Ooh. She was also on. She was Ally McBeal's daughter too.
Oh, really?
Yes. For like, remember when Ally McBeal had a daughter?
Yeah, sure. I never watched Ally McBeal.
You've never watched Ally McBeal?
Yeah, I feel like we've been over this before.
I feel like we have to, but I feel like we have to bring it up again. Like we're gonna like this summer, we're gonna like turn the podcast into a very special Ally McBeal.
I don't even think it's up on Netflix anymore.
Girl, it's on Hulu, I think.
It's on Hulu, okay.
If it's not, I'll find it for you. I will like ship you the DVDs.
I'll just get like this random package and my parents will be like, what the hell is going on? I'll be like, I don't know, Patrick sent me something.
Yeah, it's just like when wine shows up at your front door step.
They're like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know, Patrick sent me wine.
He's just this random guy that just sends cat stuff on the internet. All right, so Sue Thomas, FBI. It's loosely based on the real-life experience of Sue Thomas, a deaf woman whose ability to read lips landed her a job with an elite surveillance team at the FBI. So yeah, shout out to deaf people. Shout out to Sue Thomas. Shout out to Deanne Bray.
Okay.
All right, so I think we should get into the 4400. What do you think?
Yes, let's get into this. We started a little bit already.
We did.
We got the basics.
What have we missed? Like, what did we just brush over?
Well, really, so you get all these like people coming back, and the news is, of course, there with like Homeland Security and all of that when this all goes down.
Homeland Security has a new role. Like, they are no longer stopping terrorists. They are fighting the 4400?
Well, not exactly. They're there, they're like supposed to help, but they don't know. Nobody knows what's up with the 4400. Nobody knows where they were. Nobody knows like what to expect from any of them, and they're all like people who have to like.
Are they real?
Yes, they're real.
Like, I mean, like, are they for real? Like nobody knows what's going on. Like, are they aliens?
Yeah, like nobody knows. Like they like get put into this containment center kind of thing, while everybody tries to like process them and find out like who these people are, what their stories are, and the U.S. government has to deal with it because they landed in U.S. property.
Yeah, I love that there's like a facility big enough to hold them all too.
Yeah, like for real, how do you hold like 4,400 people? Like, come on.
That's a lot of people.
You just happen to have like that kind of place in the Northwest, just outside of Seattle.
Like raring to go, like a nice, beautiful facility that looks like it would be on like an X-Men movie, just raring to go.
Yeah.
And I love they do like a group shot. They show everybody at the lake. It did. It did not look like 4,400 people.
It didn't.
Maybe 1,000.
Yeah. And they're like from all over the world. They're all from all kinds of countries. So yeah, nobody knows what's up with these people.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out if there's a pattern, but they can't. They don't know what's up.
Why these people? And I don't think they ever really find out why these particular people. Like they're maybe like they figure out to take like certain, like they definitely wanted Kyle so that he could be the messenger to Tom. But it's like, why did they take Maya? Why did they take Richard, you know?
So people from the future came back to 2004 minus 50 years and just like randomly plucked people out of the timeline.
Yeah, they just plucked them out.
Gave them what is it called?
Promycin. Yes.
So some people like developed superpowers. So like this is like the closest thing we get to like an X-Men movie on TV.
Yeah, they really do. They start to develop superpowers. The government had found, later it's discovered that the government had found the neurotransmitter, the promycin, in the system, and they were giving the members of the 4400 a blocker so that it wouldn't take effect, but for some it didn't work. Not Kyle, Sean, Tom's nephew, who's really the first you see develop with a strange power.
What is your favorite superpower from the show?
I don't know. I kind of do love the guy who like got so angry he like vibrated and shattered the guy's skull. It's like,
yeah, I love that we get TV superpowers in this show. So they do that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too. So you can't really do like the cinematic CGI where you have like Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk and Thor like doing these crazy things. Instead you just get like someone shaken on a fence and they just do like shaky cam.
Yeah.
So it looks like something crazy's happening.
Yeah, it's like this shaky.
Yeah, they do that on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like the character Daisy, she has like earthquake powers, so she just like holds her hand out, and then they do like the same shaky cam effect.
Really?
So it's like, oh, she has powers, but the actress is really just standing there, just holding her hand out.
That is so lame.
Yeah, it's weird. It's how you can get superhero shows on TV. It's like the loophole.
Yeah.
But I remember watching this like originally and being like, wow, this is like the closest thing we'll ever probably get to having a superhero themed show on television.
And now look at the TV landscape.
Exactly. Like everything is a superhero themed TV show. We have like 15 different versions of like Daredevil on TV right now.
Like, okay, because you have everything on that comes onto Netflix. You get Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist. Is that one?
The one that like everyone hates apparently now, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Finn Jones is like on a rampage trying to like get people interested in this and no one gives a fuck.
I think there's like another one.
Luke Cage is the other one.
Luke Cage is the other. I was like, I know there's another one. Like my friends all watch them. I don't watch all of them. I go with the ones I know I'm comfortable with.
The ones you know. Then the CW has like 11 of them too.
Yeah, the CW, well, like Fox has Gotham, and then the CW has Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow,
Arrow.
And
then there's like one they're coming out with like next year, like a new one. Relax, dude. We don't not need all this shit.
Yeah.
Just give us Agent Carter back and I'll be happy. That's all I ask for.
Yes, give me. I rewatched a couple of episodes of Agent Carter the other day because I found my USB drive with them. And I was just like, oh, I miss this show.
All I want in this life of sin is me and Agent Carter. I was trying to think of something like would rhyme, but I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, sorry.
Who is your favorite character on the 4400?
I mean, I love Tom, but I kind of think it's actually Sean.
Ooh, okay.
Sean's like really, like he's very much a central figure of the show.
He is. I've Wikipedia'd his character, so he does go on to be an essential force on the show. All I remember is the guy that plays Tom, what's his name? Joel Goresh?
Yes.
He ended up being on V.
Yes, he did.
It kind of reminds me of like the same type of show, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was. I was like, this is what happened to my Tom.
Do we like V? I can't remember. Is V a good show?
I could not get through the first episode of V. I feel like if I went and watched the 80s miniseries, that'd be cool, but...
The remake of V is the one that has Juliet from Lost, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Flash Forward has Penny.
Yes, Penny is on Flash Forward. V is Juliet. Didn't we just go over this on Airing of Grievances?
We did. And I'm still, like, I was confused at the time because I was like, why would you put these two characters, like these two similarly looking actresses from Lost in like a new show at the same time?
Because they were capitalizing on Lost, but I think they picked the wrong actors to capitalize on.
I remember like watching like Flash Forward and I would see Penny and I'd be like, oh, I thought this was the show with Juliet. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, all right, I don't know how to go over the show only because it was so confusing. There's so much stuff going on. I'm gonna let you guide us through the 4400.
Okay, so Tom is inactive FBI because he hasn't really been active since Kyle went into a coma and Sean went missing.
He took like 5 months off or something. Like the head of the FBI was like, "Hey, you abandoned us," and he's like, "Yeah, my family was in crisis." Like,
Yeah, my son's in a coma and my nephew is missing and we don't know what happened. We don't know if my nephew did something to my son or what, because that's what they thought. They thought that maybe Sean like did something to Kyle, which made no sense because they were like besties.
yeah, they were like, were they the ones that were camping like by the lake?
Yeah, they were like just camping on the lake with the beer.
Oh yeah, they were like teens drinking beer.
Yeah, they were like 16.
But Tom like is just like, all right, so his nephew comes back.
Well, because he has the TV on in Kyle's room, and he sees his nephew on the TV. He's like, "Oh, that's where he's like, he's with this weird group that's like in the middle of the lake."
I loved when like the comet was coming to Earth, like they all thought they were gonna die, and like everyone's just calling up like family members, like, "Mom, Dad, I love you." And then there was like a girl and a guy, they were like making out like on like the sidewalk because they thought it was just gonna like watch the comet fly over. And the girl's like, "You know what?
Yeah.
I gotta go check on my mom and dad." Like,
I was like, "Bye."
we're gonna die, but I gotta go check on my mom and dad. And everyone's like,
Yeah.
they were trying to figure out, they were calling up like Tom, like Tom's wife was like, "Is there a bunker we can hide in?" And Tom's like, "No, we don't have a bunker we can hide in." Because
No, that was his like sister.
that's his sister?
That's the sister.
Oh, okay. But like she calls out and she's like, because Tom has like government ties, she thinks like, "Oh, we can just like go to a bunker. Like a random, like there's a bunker on the other side of town that we can just get to in like 5 minutes. That's gonna take for the comet to get here."
I was like, "No, it doesn't matter. Like this thing is gonna hit. We're just out. We're done.
Yeah, like call an Uber.
We're done."
We're gonna go to the bunker.
So yeah.
All right, so the NORAD is tracking it, and there's like a girl at the computer, and she's like, "Hold on, it's like at Mach 6. No, it's at Mach 2. It's at Mach 1. Like, it's getting ready for a landing." And they're all like, "Oh, like what? A landing? It's not a comet?"
Yeah, then it just like hovers over the water for a couple minutes.
And it just happens to like go where all these people are. Like that's where it's landing.
Or where it's like really easy for all these people to get to so quickly.
Yeah, well, 'cause
Include like even the news teams like get there pretty fast. Like, what the heck?
this is supposed to be like a worldwide phenomenon. Like,
Yeah.
the comet is coming by, so everyone's like watching it because it's like this is gonna like be like the closest comet to Earth ever.
Yeah.
But it just happens to be like in the vicinity of like all the main characters that they just show.
Yes, it just happens
That are,
to be that
and it's
way.
not like they randomly get thrown into it. They're like specifically tracking it.
Yeah, they're tracking it. It's the way it is. It's a TV show.
It's going near Mount Rainier, which is like a block away, apparently.
They're there by the time this thing like lands. So yeah, like the government like gathers all. Like, how do they even know they gathered them all up?
Yeah, like how do they not know that like 15 of them or more right just ran off and we're like, fuck these people.
Was it really 4,400? It could have been like 5,000, but 600 just like ran off.
Yeah, like did someone sit there and count everybody?
Did they make their way for Canada?
I like they have a line. It's like, yeah, there's 4,400. And the guy's like, why 4,400? Why not like 3,768?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. There must be a meeting. We have to figure it out. We have to
It was just a
figure
nice
it
round
out."
number.
Meanwhile, they're not accounting for all the people that ran away or like the paperwork errors. Like 4,400 people at once. You know, like a couple of the people that were like documenting them fucked up. Like at least
Yeah, of course. It's the government.
like 2% the margin of error.
yeah, so
You can't have 4,400 people walk into your like tiny facility and expect perfect documentation on everybody. Not gonna happen.
yeah, for real. And then they like have video interviews of everybody done that they can just so easily pull up on a computer in 2004 the way they did it. I love like TV computer graphics.
Yeah, like that's like today's computer graphics like that they had like in 2004.
Yeah.
That was like we dreamed of, like just like they do it in the movie Minority Report too, where like Tom Cruise is like moving his hand around a screen and he's like pulling things down and moving them all around like you're on an iPad, like a gigantic iPad.
Yeah.
That's the future. That's the future.
The
Kat.
future is now though.
The future is in my living room.
The future is on my computer.
The future is my touchscreen TV.
Pretty much.
Shout out to touchscreen TVs. What do you think of? All right, so the very first shot of the show is a little girl and she's like in her car and the picnic is getting rained out. Like the girl in the 1940s. Like it's like kidnapped slash
Maya.
disappeared. Yeah, Maya. She's like, Mom, I want to go play out in the rain. And she's like, all right, just for a minute. Meanwhile, like, she like steps out of the car and she's like deep in the forest, like 10 seconds later.
Yeah, for real.
Like, there's no way she was that deep in the forest. And she was only going to be allowed to be outside for a minute.
Yeah, like she just like wandered off. Like maybe the parents just started getting a little frisky and they didn't care.
It was the 40s. Like you were allowed to like have your kids like run off for hours at a time, I think.
Yeah, you could just let your kids do whatever back in 1948.
And even in the 60s, because Betty Draper would just be like, Sally, do what you want. I don't give a fuck.
Even in the 80s.
I have definitely gone like far out into the woods in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, so did I. Totally did in the 80s and 90s.
It was like, you know what? I want to walk like 4 towns over, just for no reason, just to like see how far I can walk.
I'm just gonna go to this hiking trail behind the police shooting range, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Well, my friends and I, we used to like try to like, see how far we could walk before it got dark, and then we would realize like we had to walk back
when it's dark.
Yeah, so I had to like we had to find a payphone and call my grandfather and be like, "Hey, can you come pick me up real quick and just say I was at your house?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "What? Okay, sure. Where are you?" I'm like, "In Weymouth."
Yeah.
Weymouth is like 2 towns over.
Like,
shout out to Weymouth.
You dork.
I'm just kidding. Weymouth sucks. Don't go there. What else happens in 4400? Like, what else happens in this wild episode?
Okay, so they're like in quarantine, and you've got like the TV heads on the cable news, like talking about how evil the 4400 are. Like, they're still in quarantine. Nothing's been released and the press is like, why isn't anything been released? And it's like, because we've got 4400, maybe plus more people. We have to try and figure out what the hell's going on with these people. We don't know where they're from. Like, one's from 1948, one's from like 2 years ago. Like, come on.
Yeah, we have like the Rachel Maddow of that era is like, where are the undocumented aliens? Because I'm sure they were called undocumented aliens.
Rachel Maddow. Yeah, something ridiculous like that. Yeah, it's just like, why aren't they releasing information? Because they don't know anything. They want to give you the information when they know it.
But like some weird things start happening though. Like one of them accidentally brings like a dead bird back to life.
Yeah, so once they're all released from quarantine after they've been in for like 2 months, which actually that like seems kind of short to me, but
yeah, I would probably not want to release these people. Like, let's be real. Like,
yeah, I think there was just like a point where they're like, we can't keep them. Like, there was a handful that chose to stay in the quarantine. They're probably like the smartest ones.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? We get like free food. We get HBO here. We can watch.
Like, we don't have to deal with the outside world. You guys can figure out what's going on with us.
What was on in 2004 on HBO? Like Lisa Kudrow's like The Comeback, maybe.
Sex in the City.
Yeah, Sex and the City was probably still on.
Maybe.
It was probably like on.
Yeah, it was still on.
On a Sunday night, you could watch The Comeback and Sex and the City.
Yeah, something like that.
And like they were like, you know, we're gonna stay here. We're gonna like see what happens to Miranda.
Yeah, we don't understand what like this talking box with all the bright colors are because we were abducted in 1949. But hey, we're staying here.
We're here for it.
Yeah. So like then they have to like go back to their lives, and like while in quarantine, Richard, who is played by Mahershala, I'm gonna butcher this name. Mahershala Ali, who recently just won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Was it Moonlight?
It was Moonlight. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Like, yeah.
I have kind of spaced out on the Academy Awards because they just went so long. I was like, oh my God, I can't do this.
Yeah, I did not watch the Academy Awards this year, and I did not see any of the movies. Like, I'm like over like Oscar bait.
Can you just make a good movie? It doesn't have to be pretentious.
Yeah, I watched Sandra Bullock survive space. Like, I'm done. I'm done with Oscars.
Oh God, I couldn't. That was like awful.
I'm still like annoyed by that movie.
Yeah, so am I. I watched it. I was just like, oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't watch this in the theater because I would have been pissed.
Throwing your fist at the clouds, be like, "Fuck you, Sandra Bullock. I hope you're up there still."
I'd be all Abe Simpson. Damn you, clouds.
George Clooney, stay up there. Do a TV show. God damn it.
So yeah, Richard and Lily meet in quarantine, and Lily looks exactly like her grandmother, who was also named Lily, and just happened to be Richard's girlfriend.
That's too close for comfort, I think.
It's really, really awkward. And it's one of those things you're like, oh, whoever abducted them obviously knew this.
Well, like, at first I'm like, all right. Like, a part of you is like, oh, I'm glad, like, Richard and Lily got back together, but Richard is, like, in the back of his mind is going to be like, I hope you're the other Lily.
Yeah, like, that The whole thing is so, like, that always kind of bugged me.
New Lily is just going to be like, I'm alone and you're the only person I have. So, like, their relationship is just founded on weirdness.
Yeah, it's because, like, my husband married somebody else. My daughter doesn't even know I'm her mother. And apparently I'm pregnant and I don't know who the father is because I got pregnant while I was abducted. Like, Richard's trying to adjust because he's from, like, 1955.
Yeah, like, he was in the Korean War.
And Lily's from, like, 1990-something. So they're trying to, like, figure out, like, Richard goes to a restaurant. He's getting these dirty looks. And, of course, he thinks it's because he's black, but it's because he's sitting there smoking a cigarette in a non-smoking area.
That was a powerful scene. I will, like, throw that out there. Like, they do hit, like, this show does hit, like, certain notes.
Yes,
like,
it does.
They get that together, like, the African-American, like, trying to struggle. I think Lily, like, calls him a black man, and he was like, wait, what did you just call me? A black man? I've never been called a black man.
He had a conversation with Sean, and he's like, well, I was colored, and Sean's like, it's black. You can't say that. You know, they're all trying to, like, get back into, like, life. Sean has to go back to school, and now his, like, younger brother and the girl next door are the same age as him, and he's trying to, like, adjust to high school, and he's got, like, all these assholes who are like, freak. They, like, spray paint his car. They try to, like, start fights with him. He, like, sucks the life out of some kid almost during a fight.
He's being bullied by, like, people that are technically, like, 5 years younger than him.
Not even. It's, like, 3 years. Like,
close. It's, like, a significant amount of time, like, in high school terms.
It's, like, technically he's a junior getting, like, teased by a bunch of freshmen.
It's, like, this show is, like, it is, like, a real struggle. Like, that's why I liked this episode, but it wildly deviates from it, like, after this point, though.
It does, like, especially when you get to the later seasons, it is definitely more
sci-fi oriented.
Yeah.
This premiered, like, probably the same year as Lost, which handled a long-term sci-fi-ish type series better than the 4400.
Yeah, it was the same year as Lost.
You said it, like, very hesitantly.
No, I was just, like, thinking about how I was just reading an old LiveJournal post because I was looking to see if I had any on the 4400, but nothing, like, from 2004. I didn't have my LiveJournal yet.
You were like, ooh, I like Tom, or Sean, or Kyle.
There's probably something, like, later, like, ooh, Sean.
I want to get in bed with him.
You know, you're terrible. I'm going to throw a pen at you.
I am terrible. But I'm not as terrible as the people who copied our podcast.
Yeah. Fuck you guys.
Are we missing anything on the 4400? Because I feel like we've covered it all.
Well, there's Maya, who she's the oldest and the youngest of the 4400 when you get to the technicalities, because she was only, like, 8 years old when she was abducted. She was abducted in 1948.
She was a child. Her parents are dead. She was, like, technically have only been gone for, like, a split second, and now her parents are gone.
Yeah, her parents are gone. She's got nobody, like, no family at all. And so, like, they try to basically adopt her out to, like, I think they did that with the children that who didn't have families. Like, they tried to adopt them out, foster them out or something. But Maya has the ability to see the future, and it freaks people out.
Yeah. Well, she's, like, at a graveyard, and she's like, oh, this is a nice graveyard, but the graveyard you're going to be buried at is much more beautiful than this one.
Yeah, it's much nicer than this. And then, like, the next day, the foster parents get a brochure, and the dad's just like, I'm done.
Yeah, he's like, goodbye, Maya.
Like, this was my wife's idea. I didn't want to do this. Like, you could tell he wasn't down for this whole thing the whole time anyways.
I don't blame him.
So Maya, like, goes back into quarantine.
Poor thing. I feel bad.
And she doesn't tell the director, Dennis, who's played by Peter Coyote, like, why she got returned.
Returned. Like it's you have, like, a 10-day trial period.
Yeah, God.
This show is so strange. Like, it's a hard thing to, like, podcast about.
There are people who do that, though. There are people who do that to kids, which is really unfair.
Yeah, so if you adopt a child, keep it, please.
Like, don't adopt because you think you need, like, a new accessory. Adopt because you want to be a parent.
Don't adopt because you want to be like Angelina Jolie. Adopt, like, if you legitimately want a child and want to change your life. Like, don't be Joan Crawford adopting Christina Crawford.
Yeah.
Because, like, you just need a small little thing in your life to command.
Exactly. So, yeah, so we kind of end the episode with, you know, they're all sort of trying to adapt to the new life they have now.
And it's a struggle. It's an everyday struggle. All right, so I think we should wrap up the 4400.
Yeah, it continues, and, you know, other characters are going to come in, like Jordan Collier, played by Billy Campbell, who very much becomes the leader of the 4400, and I love Billy Campbell because of this role.
Shout out to Billy Campbell. Shout out to getting, like, murdered by J-Lo in Enough. So if you like the 4400, if you like what you hear, you probably don't, but check it out on Netflix. It's on there for free if you have Netflix. I'll give you my password. All right, so what are we doing next?
I had my list. I had a list earlier.
Do you know?
I don't know what we're doing next though, but I had a list.
It's exciting. So I feel like after a stupid 4400 episode that we have to bounce back.
Yeah.
We have to bounce back with something that's like in our wheelhouse, something that we know and love, that we can talk about passionately, something that involves my old hometown.
That's on my list. It was on my list.
We are going to do Cheers, an early episode of Cheers. We're going to do season 3, the Shelley Long years. We're going to do the episode Barbette.
Yes.
Which we're excited about. We're excited to revisit Cheers. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yes, we are. Dive into the Shelley Long era.
I feel like every episode could be about Cheers, to be honest with you.
We should just have a Cheers cast.
We should. So join us next week. So as always,
cheers.